Hey Barb, we're here in the hotel lounge with
Lucy, Neatby. Hello. Hi, Lucy. Hi. Good to see you.
we were just talking about your plans for things that you have coming up in 2017. You've got something new happening in Canada.
Yes, I do. Yes. It's my biannual adventure knitting trip, which is organised with a wonderful travelling knitting friend called Judy, and she's set us up. We're going to Nelson, British Columbia. We're going to, yes, it's going to be Funky Town. And Judy's done her homework, and we're going to visit the milliner, and we're going to do all sorts of things, along with having classes sort of half a day most days. And we've got a great group of people coming, and I think we may have one or two more spots left. But this is going to be made especially complicated for me because the month before the workshop starts, I'm going to be moving to England to live on a narrowboat. So I'm actually going to ship to the West Coast all of my workshop supplies, even my clothes and my projector, and all of my kit and the projects and the goodie bags and everything else from the East to the West Coast. And then I've already got my flights booked from Heathrow to Vancouver. And then Judy's going to pick me up along with all the bags and baggages and drive me up to Nelson, where we will have our fun event. And then as soon as that event's over, I will be hightailing it back to wherever the boat has got to, because it won't be where I left it.
So you're going back to the boat?
Yes, going back to the boat. So I will leave all my gear, which will then get mailed back to the East Coast. And I'm aiming to travel with nothing more than a backpack from the UK. And then I have to find where the boat's gone to in my absence, because I'm sure my husband's not going to stay still whilst I'm gone.
No.
So what are you teaching?
That's a really good question. We are doing knitting fixes and rescue techniques, but we're also going to have a sort of side theme of felting, following on the serendipity slippers. We're going to do a sort of side thing on. It won't be slippers, it'll probably be mittens, and they won't all be double knit. There will be some double knit, but there's also going to be a non-double knit option.
You've got a new class out with Craftsy.
My most recent one is called Next Steps in Socks. Yeah. But I have a total now of, I think, 5 classes, including the free sock knit along to 16, which is still going strong with 80,000 people in it.
So Lucy, I have to tell you that I always use your modified conventional bind off when I do casting off on any of my projects. And I love your provisional cast on with a crochet hook, and in fact I tell people at the store to watch your video if they want to do a provisional cast on, because it's the best. And after that heals, I always use your tip for using 60% of the stitches in and after that heel. You're just so full of great tips, Lucy. It's been wonderful.
Oh, thank you very much. And that's really the true pay for a teacher, when someone comes up to you 10 years later and says, that whatever you taught me, it's really changed my life. And that is the best pay of all.
It's nice that people can take your Craftsy classes as well.
Yes.
That helps to spread the knowledge.
Yeah, I enjoy doing them, and it's a different form of teaching, because I actually get to go along with people's projects as they work them, and they send me questions, and sometimes we battle through little bits, and then they come out at the end, and so I actually see their progress from the beginning to the end, whereas in a workshop I may not get feedback like yours for 10 years, which is also nice, but sometimes it's fun to actually travel with people.
Thanks so much for chatting with us, Lucy. After dinner, we sat down to chat with Ricketts, one of the instructors at the Yarn Over event, and she showed us a gorgeous shawl she'd been wearing and that she'd knit using a technique called noops.
What's the name of the really, really sharp knitting needles out of surgical, expensive ones? I used my signature double points.
Lars Rains, who teaches about Icelandic knitting, also joined our conversation, and he and Laura had a very interesting chat about noops.
The 9-hour Nancy Bush class, and she showed me how to do them, because I would go and then I'd come back and I would drop something, and then I'd have to rip back and go back, and they're like, why didn't you just pick up the strand? Because I couldn't. But now I know how to stretch them enough to make it work. But I still get nervous. I mean, the most I had in
We were
one of my
having so much
designs was
fun,
like
and the
300.
conversation was so interesting.
And I don't know how
We
many were
asked
in that
Lars
one.
to join us, and it turns out he's a fan of the Grocery Girls.
Hi, Jody. Hi, Tracy. Love you guys.
We do too.
Well, obviously, what's not to love? And the best part is, I grew up in Brandon, Manitoba. Yeah, so when I see them, it's like they remind me of all the girls I went to high school with. And I was like telling people back home, I'll be here over the weekend, and within the weekend, I'll be like, oh, geez, yeah, let's go to the Sev and get a suitcase, huh? And it'll take me like a month back in New York to get back into the swing of things.
So you're a Canadian?
I'm Canadian, yeah.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah.
You have to come and visit us.
I have to come and visit you guys,
You know?
because I love your shop. I've never been, but I bought the Hat Trick, I bought the Adam and Eve,
Well,
I bought the Sweet George.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Do you have that pattern?
I don't have that pattern, but I do have my Winnipeg Jets yarn to work it up in, because I got to represent my home
Well,
province.
you might like this one better. This is Winnipeg Jets.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Sock pattern by Barb Brown.
Oh, I love Barb.
Do you love Brown's art?
Have you seen Barb's new socks in the new Vogue spring issue?
Yes.
Oh my, oh, they're Sanquar socks
Oh, really?
in like lavender and black. And she got a whole full page, so they're like super close up.
Very nice.
Just beautiful.
She's known for her knee highs.
I know.
That girl.
Yeah. But perfect. Because this was going to be my year of socks.
Can we inspire you?
Absolutely. This is almost the Detroit colors. Beautiful. Thank you.
I'll say I love Holly's work, but now I have to say a shout out to Nigel.
Hi, Nigel.
Oh, I'm good friends with Nigel on Facebook because he probably like knit that up for her. So
Nigel did knit that. How did you
Wow.
know that?
because he knits
fantastic.
everything up for her. I wish I had a Nigel.
Oh,
So.
we had so much fun 2 years ago with Nigel.
Oh yeah,
Vancouver,
at Knit City.
Yeah.
That's another one I got to go to.
You
I gotta
gotta
go.
go.
Yeah, I gotta make a West Coast tour.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
next year, October, Vancouver, Knit City.
It's the weekend before Thanksgiving, right? Or after?
Before.
That's
Before.
right. It's the first weekend.
The real Thanksgiving.
And then you have
The real Thanksgiving.
It's okay. You three are Canadians. You can say it the right way.
So when I saw you guys giving away the gift kits, I was hoping I was going to be running into you guys.
normally we don't even.
Yeah.
Lars, tell us about your designs.
I have 2 books out. My first one was a collection of all of my early Icelandic sweaters, and then I reknit them for samples for smaller people, and in different sizes, and kind of updated the color palette. So that's Modern Lopi 1, and so Modern Lopi 2 down the road, 3, 4, but it takes a lot of work to self-publish a book. But after that one, I did a lot of accessory patterns using all Madeline Tosh ASAP. So they're all bulky, quick accessories with little techniques. Because I always feel like any new project, you should learn something new instead of just staying in one place all the time. So I experimented with some unusual constructions and some vibrant colors or whatever. So that one's called Presto, and it's all accessory patterns you can knit up in a weekend. Yeah.
Accessories like scarves and hats.
Scarves, hats, there's one shawl, some mitts, cowls. I actually have some with me in my room, but on my website, I wouldn't know what to do once we got there, but she can come up and
Sell
visit.
books.
Yeah, sell books. Right. Oh, great. Money's transacting in my hotel room. I'll never be invited back.
He accepts PayPal.
I brought my Square because I'm a professional. That's why I can't wear white anymore. But no, you can order the books off my website, which links to Amazon. And then whenever I do book signings or whatever, I normally work with the shops and sell them with them. So. www.modernlopey.com. Yeah.
I have an ebook on interweave, and then I have designs in magazines and books. It is called The Beautiful World of Sami Knitting, I believe. Sami Mittens. I'm supposed to know this. It's on interweave.
I love Sami mittens.
So
I
do
just like the vibrant colors.
That's what lured me in.
Now, which cast on do you use? Old Norwegian?
I use longtail Old Norwegian. I do twined cast-ons. Yeah, fun stuff. Lots of color work.
Laura, you just have to tell us about these nups. I heard that there's a special technique that you use to do these.
Noops are made by knitting in the front and the back of a single stitch, and depending on the weight of your yarn or the pattern, you might knit into the front and back 5 times, 7 times, 9 times, and then on your return row you purl them all together. And so there are different techniques for purling them together, as Lars can testify. The technique that I used was with my signature double point needle, which is super sharp, and I could put it through to purl them all together, and then that's the tricky part, to purl that puppy through. Lars at first used a
crochet hook. Myra Wood has a wonderful crochet hook method where you do the knitting and the yarn overs on the crochet hook, and then the crochet hook pulls them all through at the same time, so when you go to purl, you just have to purl that one stitch. But some people call that the Estonian schoolgirl method, and so there's the proper way to do it.
When you grow up.
In my Modern Lopey book,
do you have noops in your Modern Lopies?
I have an Estonian lace shawl. It's called Winter Blueberries. It's made out of bulky Lopey on size 13 needles, I think,
funky.
with a picot cast on. And then I have this star pattern, not that pattern, but I have the star pattern with 3-stitch noops. So if you want to learn how to do noops, purl 3-2 together is so much easier. Learn how to do it on that one first, and then you can do that one no problem.
Yeah, no problem. This is the second one.
This is like one of the most beautiful shawls I've ever seen.
Laura, how long did it take you to knit that?
February. I dedicated to February, and I would
Go ahead, tell us.
I would sit down and just knit, and then I would say, oh my goodness sakes, how can I get past one of the stars? And then you were just thanking the Lord when you only had so many noops per row. Yeah.
So if you put 3 buttons at the top, then it would be a February lady shawl. And you could market it that way.
That's awesome. Thank you, Easy, Lars. All right. Thank you.
This is so much fun.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, lots of fun.
Girl, don't make me put my knitting down.
You're not even holding it. What is that? Come and join us. That's a snowball from Canada.
I'm taking it home.
It looks like a tiny snowball.
What is that? Alice, she's just going to get your... I'm
It's a
really sorry.
It's a condenser mic.
How did you dress them again?
Little happy dance you did.
That's going to go platinum.
Actually, my students in New York, because I teach high school special ed math in New York, they would remix that, and that would be like the new viral dance.
see you tomorrow. See how much more silly we'll be.
I'll be very silly. It's been a long week.